Origin of the cage. Attachment meets alarm. To understand why your body picks solitude, we need to go back to the first lessons you learned about closeness. As a kid, you reached out 1,000 times. The small bids, the half questions, the "can you watch me?" moments. When care was reliable enough, your system paired closeness with safety. But when care was inconsistent, preoccupied, or frightening, the math changed. Your body started tracking patterns: reach, miss, heat, shame. Proximity needs met with uncertainty equals threat learning. So you tried again, like all kids do. You upped the signal, protested louder, clung, performed. When bids still failed, or were punished, your brain did something brilliant. It rewrote the strategy. Stop needing, stop asking, stop repeating bids. If reaching sets off alarms, then not reaching must be safer. Hyper-independence wasn't a personality. It was a protest that hardened into withdrawal. The nervous system prefers certainty, even if the certainty is lonely. It's a clean calculation. Autonomy equals control, and control reduces risk. Closeness introduces variables: timing, mood, memory, another person's capacity you can't command. Your body did the math and sided with predictability. It found relief in self-containment, routines, and a tight grip on outcomes. It wasn't about pride. It was about not going through that sinking drop again. Now add parentification. Maybe a parent was ill, numbed by substances, drowning in work, or carrying their own history. You stepped up. You scanned the room, predicted storms, softened edges. You became useful, and usefulness paid. You're so mature, hit your dopamine system like a small medal. Competence as currency formed fast. If I keep the plates spinning, we survive. If I excel, I belong. If I manage you, I don't have to need you. That bargain felt noble. It also taught your body to ignore its own signals. Hunger could wait. Tears could wait. Sleep could wait. The praise for self-sufficiency created a reinforcement loop. You overfunctioned, got validated, and your brain sealed it with dopamine. This is the competence trap. It works until it works you into exhaustion and isolation. Micro-stories show how ordinary it looked. You were the quiet helper, the kid who knew where the forms were, who memorized everyone's schedules. Teachers loved you. You didn't need reminders. You didn't need anything. In group projects, you took the hardest part and finished it alone because explaining felt riskier than doing. When your stomach tightened before asking for help, you called it nerves. When your chest ached after a missed birthday pickup, you called it bad luck. Your body was learning to preempt disappointment. Meanwhile, bids kept failing in small daily ways. A caregiver said, later, and later didn't come. A promise bent to fatigue. A meltdown elsewhere in the house swallowed your need. You learned timing like a craft. Ask when they're fed, when the show ends, when the door closes. Still, enough misses stacked up that a rule set in: needing equals danger. The protest turned inward. Silence became strategy. Layer in the social camouflage. Adults called you independent, humble, easy. No drama. You weren't low maintenance, you were under asking. But that language soothed the system. Independent sounded like an identity you chose, not a position you were forced into. Compliments lacquered over the ache, and the world kept rewarding the role. More top grades, more late nights, more "we can always count on you." The loop tightened. There's also the body piece, already taking shape. When bids are unreliable, the amygdala tags closeness as risk. Your system starts to brace around proximity, even if the person in front of you is safe. Early on, that bracing might look like a held breath before you speak, a tiny flinch away from eye contact, a reflexive "it's okay, I got it." Your interoceptive signals, hunger, fatigue, the need to cry, get turned down so you can keep performing the caretaker job. If you don't notice the need, you don't have to risk the bid. A small scene, 3rd grade, the classroom is loud. Your heart beats fast because your project board is bent. You want help taping it. You glance at the teacher, she's swamped. You pivot, borrow tape without asking, fix it cleanly, and swallow the wish that someone would notice. Your brain logs the win. Solve it alone, feel immediate relief, avoid the sting. Another scene, middle school, your parent is late again. The office staff offers to call. You say, "No, I'm fine," and text a neighbor instead. You make it home. Another solitary win. Another chip into the same groove. By high school, the groove is a road. You're the perfect student. Organized, nimble, unfazed. Friends trust you with their chaos. You listen, give advice, then go home and don't tell anyone when you're overwhelmed. The system overlearns safety, and now polices connection. It scans for potential disappointment, flags it red, and reroutes you to familiar solitude. Here's the hard truth that's also generous. Your "I don't need anyone" wasn't delusion. It was protection that worked. It got you here. The problem isn't that it formed. The problem is it never got an off switch. The child who had to becomes the adult who can't stop. And the body, faithful to what it learned, still fires alarms at the exact moment you consider leaning. What nobody told you is that protection and loneliness can feel identical at first. Your system can't tell the difference yet. That comes later. For now, we've found the hinge. Unreliable care taught your body to treat closeness as a risk and competence as a shield. From there, everything else unfolds. The adaptive genius, how lone wolf keeps you alive. Here's where the strategy earns its keep. Chaos outside, coherence inside. When everything feels unpredictable, you create rules you can trust. Wake at the same time. Stack tasks in a sequence. Keep your desk arranged just so. Routines become scaffolding. They turn a storm into a checklist. Control isn't about perfection. It's about lowering the noise enough so your system can breathe. Solo problem solving gives quick relief. No negotiating deadlines with someone else's mood. No waiting on a reply. You see a problem, you handle it, and your body rewards you with a drop in tension. That's a powerful loop. Act alone, feel the relief, remember the safety. It's not ego, it's efficient pain avoidance. You learned that moving fast by yourself beats moving slow with a maybe. Conflict avoidance rides shotgun. When you do it yourself, there's no fight about how to do it. No mismatch in standards. No disappointing someone or being disappointed. Your nervous system notes the absence of friction and tags it as good strategy. Each skipped argument feels like a win, and those add up. Over time, peace equals privacy. You didn't start out antisocial. You got efficient at staying out of crossfire. And the world keeps clapping. You're so independent, they say, like it's a moral virtue. You're humble, low maintenance, easy. Those words polish the armor. They tell you the cage is actually a crown. You carry more than your share and get praised for the load bearing. Maturity medals keep coming, so your brain keeps caching them, strengthening the pattern. Praise turns into proof that this is who you are. There's cognitive economy too. Collaborating costs energy. Coordinating calendars, aligning expectations, managing misunderstandings. Every ask risks a no. Every no risks that old shame heat. Lone Wolf streamlines all that. You cut the social overhead and the disappointment tax. You skip the bid entirely, and therefore you skip the potential sting. The savings feel real because they are, until the bill shows up elsewhere. Underneath it is a central story. Solitude equals safety. Intimacy equals exposure. Your body didn't invent that. It learned it the hard way. So it keeps you on the right side of the equation by policing connection. You start to notice the micro-alarms. A text pings and your chest tightens. Someone offers help and you feel heat behind the eyes. A friend lingers on a vulnerable topic and your mind sprints for a joke, a task, a topic shift. The guardrails aren't theoretical, they're somatic. Meanwhile, the strategy helps you win. You climb quickly because you don't stall on coordination. You're the one people trust with last-minute problems because you deliver without drama. Reliability becomes identity. You don't just do the thing, you become the person who can always be counted on. That status buys you room, respect, sometimes even affection. It's not fake, it's hard-won. Here's a human moment. Your boss emails at 8 p.m. in a panic. You're already in sweats, about to shut down. You feel the familiar squeeze. If you say no, you'll feel exposed. If you say yes, you'll feel safe. You say yes, crush the task, and the reply comes back. Lifesaver. Your shoulders drop. The relief is unmistakable. It's not just about approval. It's about avoiding the cold spike of not being needed. Another loop closes. The camouflage works socially too. People like the version of you that doesn't ask for much. Low-demand friends are easy to keep. Partners appreciate your competence, at least at first. Your independence reads as confidence. Your emotional self-containment reads as stability. You've built a brand, unfazed, unbothered, unneedy. It's magnetic in a world drowning in need. There are softer wins. You learn to self-soothe fast. A walk, a playlist that resets your breath, late-night kitchen rituals that feel like prayer. You stack micro-anchors into a private sanctuary. Nobody else has to show up for those to work. Your system trusts what you can do alone because it's been betrayed less often. And yet, the genius carries a trade-off you can't feel right away. When solitude becomes the default safety, Intimacy has to earn its way past security. Your body sets higher thresholds, more consistency, more proof, more time. That sounds wise, and sometimes it is. But often it's the nervous system overcorrecting, raising bars so high that nobody clears them. You call it standards. Your body calls it survival. It's tempting to punish yourself here. Don't. This is an adaptation, not a character flaw. Your brain didn't mess up. It overlearned what kept you alive. It built elegant shortcuts. Control for calm, silence for safety, work for worth. Those shortcuts protected the child and powered the adult. The problem isn't the intelligence of the system. It's that the calibration never updated. So, the lone wolf isn't broken. It's brilliant at one job, keeping pain predictable. The cost stays invisible for a while because the wins are loud and measurable. Promotions, clean apartments, smooth logistics. What nobody sees are the micro-choices your body makes to avoid reliance. Those choices kept you safe. Now they keep you separate. And the same genius that built your private sanctuary is quietly guarding it from the warmth you're wired to want. The invisible contract. Rules you didn't know you signed. There's a rule book you never agreed to, but you live by it anyway. It formed in those early misses and got notarized by praise. It says, don't need, don't ask, don't repeat bids. If you can carry it, carry it. If you can fix it, fix it. If you have to speak, make it brief, polished, and easy to refuse. Self-contain or pay the price. Your body enforces these clauses like they keep you alive, because they did. Another clause equates success with belonging. You learn that when you perform, you get proximity. When you excel, people smile, doors open, tension eases. Emotions? They're liabilities, messy, time-consuming, easy to misread. Vulnerability? That's a debt. If you share softness, you'll owe explanations, reassurance, maybe patience you don't have. So you preempt the bill by not opening the tab. It sounds calculated. It's really relief-seeking. There's a reciprocity hack built into the contract. Give more to avoid being owed. If you're always the one paying, carrying, driving, proofreading, no one can call in a chip you can't cover. You stay ahead of the ledger, so you never have to depend. It looks generous. Underneath, it's evasive. You're not just avoiding being a burden, you're avoiding being bound. Hyper-competence becomes your permission to exist. You believe you earn your keep by absorbing the load. Burnout quietly becomes your identity anchor. Tired means worthy, stretched means safe. If you're exhausted, you can't be accused of laziness. If you're overbooked, nobody can ask for more. The fatigue becomes a shield. Nobody argues with a person who's clearly doing too much. The competence trap has a neurochemical signature. External validation hits dopamine. Each, you're amazing, stamps the circuit, and your brain tightens the loop. Overgiving becomes a way to avoid feeling owed. It also keeps the validation drip running. You keep moving because stillness reveals hunger, and hunger would mean risking a bid. The contract rewards motion and punishes pause. Boundaries show up as walls, not doors. You call them standards, and some are. But the thickness is about safety, not discernment. You require clean language, timely responses, crisply defined plans. When someone wobbles, you don't flex, you close. It's not cruelty, it's a reflex against chaos. A door can open both ways, a wall can't. You choose walls because they never ask you to lean. Micro-clauses get written into daily life. Don't send the update, they don't need to know. Don't share the draft, wait until it's finished. Don't ask for a ride, find a workaround. Don't say you're lonely, say you're busy. Each choice looks small. Together, they're governance. You manage your exposure like a careful CFO manages risk. Here's a scene that shows how subtle it is. A friend texts, "Can I help with anything for Saturday?" You're hosting. Your first impulse is no. You've already built a plan. But beneath that is the contract. If you accept help, you open yourself to their timing, their quality, their possible miss. You reply, "All good, thank you," and feel a thin band of relief. You didn't just dodge inconvenience. You dodged dependence. Work reinforces the rules with promotions and praise. You're the one who never drops the ball, who anticipates needs, who's low maintenance. You take pride in never escalating problems, only delivering solutions. The brand cements the contract. As long as you're the person who doesn't need, you're the person who belongs. If you change the rule, you risk the role. Relationships mirror this, often without anyone noticing. You pick partners who admire your self-sufficiency and don't push for more than you can give. When closeness edges in, your nervous system runs enforcement. You change the subject, introduce logistics, Schedule intimacy into a tight window you control. If they protest, the contract has a clause for that too. Distance until the heat dies down, then return with competence. Fix something, pay for dinner, solve a problem. Repair through function, not feeling. The contract also includes a fairness myth. Asking is unfair unless you can guarantee you won't inconvenience them. Since you can't guarantee that, you don't ask. Instead, you perfect. You overprepare. You work twice as hard to remove variables. It seems principled. It's actually fear wearing ethics as a suit. And when someone breaks your unspoken rules, shows up late, forgets, mishandles your ask, the penalties are swift. You revise their access without announcing it. You move them from inner circle to outer, from possibility to predictability. No confrontation, just quiet downgrades. Your body calls it balance. It's really enforcement. The contract punishes uncertainty. All of this can feel like moral clarity. It's not. It's trauma logic disguised as standards. Standards are flexible when trust grows. Contracts like these don't flex. They protect you from chaos, yes. They also keep you from warmth. The tragic part is you won't feel the loss immediately, because the contract's relief is real and fast. Contracts need enforcers. Yours isn't a voice in your head, it's your nervous system. Threat detection bias, blunted interoception, autonomic patterns. These aren't metaphors. They're the cops on the beat, writing tickets the second you consider leaning. What happens in your body makes the rules feel like truth. And that's where we go next. The neurobiology, bodies that won't let you lean. While that contract runs in your head, enforcement happens in your body. Start with threat detection. Your amygdala acts like a salient scanner, flagging what matters for survival. If early bids met inconsistency or heat, your amygdala learned a shortcut. Proximity equals risk. So when someone moves closer, physically or emotionally, it tags that closeness as potentially dangerous. Not because the person is bad, but because your prediction map says, this is where the drop happens. You feel it as a quickened pulse, a held breath, a micro-flinch in your shoulders. That's not personality. That's a smoke detector catching the shape of old fire. Then there's interoception, the sense of your internal states. In hyper-independent bodies, it gets blunted. Signals like hunger, fatigue, tight throat, heavy chest, the pre-cry burn. Those turn down until they break through as crisis. It's a protective edit. If noticing need leads to bids, and bids lead to misses, the system makes a deal. Stop noticing. You forget to eat until you're shaky. You don't realize you're sad until you snap. You push through sleep until your body pulls the emergency brake. This is somatic disconnect, not a lack of willpower. Your body's quietly saying, don't feel the cue, don't risk the reach. Look at the autonomic shape, how your nervous system shifts gears. When dependence is invited, asking for help, pausing to be held, your system may lock sympathetic, alert, fast, tight, ready to bolt. Or it may drop into dorsal collapse. Heavy, numb, a shutdown that feels like apathy. Both are protection. One prepares to outrun exposure. The other lowers metabolism to ride it out. Neither is about choice in the moment. These are learned reflexes, wired by repetition. Here's the part that messes with your head, the oxytocin paradox. Oxytocin is often called the bonding hormone. In safe contexts, it helps quiet the amygdala and opens you to connection. But if your body associates closeness with letdown or volatility, proximity cues can spike salience before soothing kicks in. Translation: the same signals that should help you settle, soft eyes, slow voice, a hand on your back, can initially raise alarm. Not because you're broken, but because your system learned, this is where I get hurt. The alarm fires early and fast. If you assume alarm means danger, you'll bolt. If you know alarm can be a misfire, you can stay long enough for the soothing to catch up. Memory and prediction tighten this loop. Your hippocampus helps store context. The kitchen light at night, the sound of keys, the pause before a no. Over time, your system doesn't wait for the miss, it pre-fires disappointment. You're halfway to an ask and already feel the drop. So you pivot to it, alone, and your body pays you with relief. That relief becomes evidence. See, good call. Neural pathways thicken around whatever works fastest. Solo wins are fast. Connection wins are slower at first. The fast path keeps winning. A micro-story from the body's point of view. You draft a text. Could you swing by after work? Your thumbs hover. Heat rises in your neck. Your breath goes shallow. That's the amygdala tagging risk. Interoception dimming the plea. Sympathetic arousal prepping you to delete. You delete. Your shoulders loosen. Dopamine drops a tiny reward. The circuit nods, safety restored. Next time, your body will start the delete earlier. Parallel action. Social cues load the system. Eye contact sustains felt connection. If connection is risky, your gaze slides away. Prosody, the musicality in voices, can soothe. If soothing is unfamiliar, you'll feel awkward, then irritated, then productive. Touch should co-regulate. If touch was inconsistent, even a friendly shoulder squeeze can feel like a tripwire. You'll step back before you notice you moved. This isn't just about discomfort, it shapes behavior. When your interoception's blunted, you miss the early cues to rest, to eat, to ask. You only register need when it's urgent, which confirms your rule that needs are emergencies, not everyday realities. When your amygdala overtags closeness, you reach for cognitive control, plans, precision, performance, to lower salience. It works. It also keeps connection peripheral. The brain does economy. Fewer negotiations mean less uncertainty, which means less amygdala load. So your prefrontal cortex partners with avoidance. It builds elegant arguments for why asking is inefficient, why timing's bad, why people are busy. Those are not lies. They're partial truths doing threat reduction. The cost is you never get the reps that would let oxytocin do its job and recalibrate the alarm. Here's where it gets hopeful and hard. These systems are plastic. They change with gentle, repeated, safe exposures. But early on, safety won't feel safe. Safety will feel wrong. You'll interpret wrong as danger unless you label it as unfamiliar. If you can name the oxytocin paradox when it hits, this is the alarm before the soothe. You can buy yourself 10 extra seconds. In those 10 seconds, you might breathe slower, uncurl your shoulders, keep the text draft alive. Small, precise acts signal to your body. We're testing a new map. In the aftermath of any microlean, you need metabolizing time. Let the soothing catch up. Warm drink, soft gaze, a walk, a check-in with yourself. What's the sensation now? If you rush back to control, you won't register the delayed ease, and the old map wins. If you wait, the amygdala learns a new association. Sometimes, bids lead to comfort. That's not an idea. It's a body memory, rebuilt drip by drip. This wiring explains the daily micro-choices that keep you alone. It also points straight to the exit. Change the body's predictions, and the contract loses its enforcer. We'll get there. First, you have to see what you're fighting isn't stubbornness. It's a nervous system doing its job too. Micro-behaviors that cement the cage. While all that wiring hums in the background, the cage is built in tiny choices that look reasonable.